I really don't know how many times I can make the joke, but I'm not stopping a day. Is it really a Call of Duty update if there's not hidden or stealth changes? Well, the world may never know, but certainly not with Season 3 Reloaded, as there were a handful of rather substantial changes not mentioned and under the radar with the 1.19 update to Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. Today, we're running down all those and what you need to know that maybe you caught or maybe you didn't in Modern Warfare 2 after the most recent Reloaded update. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. Is there anything in particular you like out of these stealth changes? Anything you think is particularly good, particularly bad? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. If you enjoy the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, as well as DMZ content with the Season 3 Reloaded update. We've got a whole host of guides, tutorials, discussions, and more still upcoming, so if you're interested, I'd love to have you in the community. As well, check out my friends over at G Fuel for 30% off certain items in the month of May, but 20% off everything else all the time. But more on that later. For now, let's jump into the hidden or stealth changes of Season 3 Reloaded. First, let's start out with some things that you can just really see firsthand, some apparent ones here with this. One of the big ones that I noticed immediately because, well, I had it on almost every single class in multiplayer and in Warzone after unlocking it with Season 2 Reloaded, is the Boeing Blossoms camo is now animated. Previously, that cherry blossom camo that was the overall mastery for the Path the Ronin event as of Season 2 Reloaded, that was just something that was a static camo. Honestly, I love the static camo as is. I thought it was pretty clean. I thought it looked good on most weapons, but as of the Season 3 Reloaded update here, we actually ended up seeing that the sort of flower petals ended up coming across the camo design now at this point in an animated fashion. The entire camo isn't necessarily animated, but you'll end up seeing again those petals come across your viewpoint if you're looking at your weapon either in-game or in the menu. Personally, I really like that change. One thing that I'm kind of curious on is if we'll see a change here to the most recent camo of the Skull Eater camo, because in menus on the sort of matte black portions where there is no camo really defined, we see a slight animation, but in-game that doesn't really translate to actually animated as well. So wondering if we see in the future that happen with that camo as well. But Boeing Blossom, if you have that unlocked, it is animated now. Also, one thing to note in regards to Path of the Ronin challenges is that it seems like you actually might still be able to unlock these. Now, I completed this for myself as the Season 2 Reloaded update. I neither can confirm nor deny, but having played with Immortal as of the update, he had mentioned that he had unlocked one of the Path of the Ronin event challenge camos after these new challenges were introduced. So that'd be kind of a game changer if we have the ability to unlock those camos still, even if they're air quote like hidden challenges. So if you haven't completed all of them, check back on some of our coverage to see those challenges and see if you can unlock some of those, because you might be able to get a free camo still out of that. But again, a bit of an asterisk on that one since I can neither confirm nor deny. Another thing talking about sort of retrospective rewards is that you can still actually redeem your trophies from the first half of the season's trophy hunt event. Now, you unfortunately cannot earn anymore, but if you wanted to end up unlocking anything that you hadn't quite gotten around to, or maybe you had gotten everything that you really cared about, but you had some leftover tokens, you could spend those now accordingly. And if you didn't complete Mastery 1 or Mastery 2 for that Rose or Koenig skin, you can still work towards that. Again, you just can't earn any more. So that's something that's pretty cool. It allows for retroactive earning of rewards. We saw in the creative class, we had a couple of different things changed where you now have 2 rows of your custom loadouts, whereas opposed to previously was all 1, and you had to scroll all the way down from 1 to 10, or if you're on PlayStation to 12. Now, additionally, on top of that, you can now also scroll from your first custom class on the left all the way over to the right just by simply hitting 1 over to the left, whereas previously you had to scroll through the entirety of every single class to get there. So making that wrap around from first to last a little bit quicker than beforehand. A small, but I think worthwhile change, something that I'd use a lot. I utilize all 10 classes, so it's definitely nice to be able to quickly traverse that even just a tad faster. We saw that our operator selection screen now has a sort of 3-dimensional feature to it where you can see the preview of the operator, but then it will also showcase a few squares behind it as to dictate that there is customization options available. So that's something you may have noticed as well. You have a new UI feature that will showcase friends now playing on certain playlists if they are populated by anybody on your Activision friends list. Jumping over to some DMZ stuff here and some stuff that honestly I had a surprising amount of fun with as of this update. On a more top-down down level, the DMZ challenge section that we have in our challenges menu now has a percentage of your overall completion for your case rewards and other tasks that you have in regards to the challenges for DMZ. So a cool little feature that at a glance will tell you what you need to do and what you may not need to do. We saw the introduction of 6 new weapon crates for the Koshi complex, a brand new subdivision of Al Mazrah, though it is something that if you have not jumped in, it is actually something that is you queue into Al Mazrah like a regular DMZ match, but then you go and enter and it will queue you up for a different match inside that match. So it actually takes you to an entirely different server, it seems. So it really is like actually taking you to a different almost playlist if it was like a multiplayer comparison. Almost like you'd end up playing a ground war match and then in an area you went to, it took you to shipment, if that makes sense by comparison. But anyways, we have 6 new weapon crates that were added under the radar here for this, which does kind of make sense because we have weapon crates for deployment zones, but it is something that I didn't quite expect that to really be the case whenever they were advertising this as a part of Al Mazrah. And speaking of weapon cases beyond just Koshi complex, the Al Mazrah weapon crates have a few new spawn points added into the mix as well. Now, back on topic about Koshi Complex, one final time to round out the DMZ content, we have a new sort of build a blueprint, that being the Heated Madness Cast-Off 762, which is available as of a sort of Easter egg unlock, but also kind of mix that with one of those weapon cases where you have to find and extract the 5 attachments to build the blueprint, but once you end up doing that, you unlock the blueprint for your entire inventory, usable at any point in time. So this is something we already put up a guide up on the channel if you guys are at all interested, but that was something that was added in under the radar as well. Now, talking a little bit about some more UI and display sort of challenges, we have new calling card changes here in the menu system. We have the new added to tracked ability, which for the life of me, I can't really seem to comprehend what exactly that does, but it is something that is available where you can sort of add it to your favorites, add to your tracked, things to keep track of, or your ones that you can end up having always as your favorite listed first and foremost. Now, beyond that, you have the new segments of all, games, prestige, and premium, with the premium showcases actually showing all calling cards, not via in-game challenge, even the ones you don't own. So that being something that you can see some of those super rare calling cards, perhaps if you don't have them, but even if you don't have them, you still probably won't be able to unlock them because again, they're not available via in-game challenge. Some are available via store, but things like maybe the HyperX calling card, that was a promotional item that was pretty hard to come by. Beyond that, we also finally have some new MGB masteries for calling cards, something that just like Modern Warfare 2019, for whatever reason, for getting a nuke back in the day, you didn't get anything as reward, and the calling card that you ended up getting was added later on down the line. Same thing happens now with Modern Warfare 2. As the Season 3 Reloaded update, you do have the ability to end up getting calling cards for calling in MGBs. You can end up getting them at 1, 3, 5, and 10, with that mastery having a similar format to the 10 MGB calling card, but going a step further. But that's something that I think should have been there from the very launch, both in this game and also in Modern Warfare 2019, but I guess better late than never. Now, moving over to some gameplay related changes here, these are going to close out our list where we have a new UI element that shows you killed in multiplayer matches, which is kind of strange because like, I mean, you have that also showing up with the calling card as well below that, but it's something that's a bit more bright, a bit more vibrant and apparent as a standout item, though maybe not necessarily what you exactly want. And also, if I'm not mistaken, it's kind of the way that it's displayed in Invasion. It's also kind of broken in split screen from what I've seen, where if you end up playing split screen, that will actually showcase right where you're aiming, right on top of your reticle. So not great in that regard. The one thing that I'd still really love to see them bring back to the UI in game is that kill streak counter. Not sure why that was removed from the beta. Didn't do anybody any harm, and I'd love to see what kill streak I'm on when I'm 15, 20 deep and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can get a nuke, or maybe I'm not even close, so the heartbreak isn't warranted whenever I die. It'd just be nice to know, you know? That said, in addition to the UI elements, there's also skull icons for singles, doubles, triples, and so on, corresponding with how many kills you get in that certain time window. So double kills, triple kills, quads, that'll show up not only just as the medals you could potentially see, but also it'll show it in that quick succession with that new UI element of the you killed in public matches. There's a new sort of burn animation for streaks, if you want to call it that, where if you overlap a streak, that streak will then turn red and go off to the side as opposed to going left into your inventory. A cool little, very minor detail, but something that I noticed when going and editing some of the videos that you'll see here over the weekend, that honestly, if I wasn't paying attention to trying to cut up where these streaks were in videos, I wouldn't have noticed. We saw the latency counter is now fixed, although I'm a little skeptical on this because yes, you're not seeing just 1 to 3 milliseconds, but unless they actually added servers, I was getting way lower a ping than I normally get. Servers didn't feel bad. I didn't have anything that was too choppy when I played it as of earlier this week with the update, but at the same time, Activision doing something to enhance the player experience that would bring more servers into the fold and as such lower pings. I don't know if I believe that one just yet. But anyways, the latency counter should be now fixed to show a more accurate, if not accurate, latency counter for your connection. We also saw there was a different end game audio track that was just a little fun, whimsical thing I picked up on. Custom loadouts are now available in Spec Ops raids, which is definitely a nice touch here, something that offers the ability to use your own custom weapons and can help out in the proficiency and playthroughs of those. You can also skip the end cutscenes in Spec Ops raids finally as well, whereas the last couple you had to sit through them every single time. So if you were somebody that was going for the completion rewards and playing the raids 10 times over, you'd have to watch that cutscene 10 times over. That's no longer the case now. But that said, that's the stealth changes that I have picked up on. One thing that was mentioned in the patch notes that I was really excited for, that I actually haven't seen work for anybody just yet, maybe I'm not looking in the right places, is that while it was listed, tracers apparently are going to be universal, but I can't seem to see where you'd end up equipping that based off of ammunition type, based off of blueprint customization skins. That's something that right now it's just a little bit of an asterisk and up in the air, but that was one thing that I wanted to note because I thought that was really cool to see that introduced, but hasn't quite been just yet, it seems. But anyways, that's the stealth changes out of Season 3 Reloaded and what you may or may not have picked up on for yourself. So let me know your thoughts down below. How many of these did you guys see for yourself? How many are new to you, and what do you like or dislike out of them? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But before we wrap everything up, make sure you check out my friends over at G Fuel. Code Espresso right now gets you 30% off certain items. Things like starter packs are discounted, which is definitely nice. So if you have never tried G Fuel, want to try it out for the first time, now is as best a time as any with Code Espresso. But also, Code Espresso gets you 20% off everything on the entire site. So if you're interested, link in the description below. But for now, let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful. And as well, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, DMZ, and a whole host of other FPS content here upcoming. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.